Hello, good evening, and welcome back to Zafiralis All Rounder Championship. Tonight we're at Fern Bay Gold with the FZ5 on road tyres for the second race at the the second environment in Live the Speed this season of All Rounder Championship. The first of 3 rounds at Fern Bay, and it starts with the beast that is the FZ50, which is a car that is hugely heavy and popular in LFS. It does pose quite a challenge, and so too does the tight and twisty 3.5 kilometer, 2.2 mile configuration here at Fern Bay Gold. We're going to have 20 laps of racing tonight, kicking off in around about 3 minutes time. We've just had a qualifying session, which I'll go through the results of momentarily. Here is the car I was talking about, the FZ50, an absolute classic 3.6 litre flat 6 engine, rear wheel drive, weighing in at 1.3 tons, the heaviest road car that comes as standard with LFS by a way, and it's got 360 horsepower, so it's fairly powerful. It has an extremely high top speed, and well, the drivers are going to be using every inch of the FZ5's performance here this evening. Here is the schedule for the championship so far. We are 4 rounds in. That means we are a quarter of the a third of the way, if I can do my maths. We're a quarter of the way complete, a third of the way complete after this evening's action. And yeah, we are at the first of 3 Fern Bay rounds for road, dirt and slick, but tonight we are of course going to use the road tyres on the FZ5. But yeah, we'll see what the combination is for next time here. An interesting one, that's for sure. Here are the qualifying results from tonight's action. It's Vitatas Lagutskas who leads the way with a 1:29.5 ahead of Yorpa. That is Jordan Lavrikov and Elvis Liebertis. Mausman in P3 there. Jara Fornless, Sufor, P4. Then it's Hamster, Dodislav, T-Bug, Timus Arkanen, Asker and DMRZN there in 10th. Hachiroku, Redbot, Johnny SVK, Rid, Motimikari, Lorenzo, Roni Krompush, Magic, Benja, and Pegasus are there in your top 20. And then 8 more drivers on the second screen with Kubiak, Anusorn, Ghost Rider, Mozart, Antunes, Ahmet Enes, and PX Non. FB Schumacher did not set a time, just an outlap, so 27 qualifiers. Though the later times on that list, we're not sure if they will be allowed to start. That will be at the discretion of race control because they are outside the 110% cutoff time even. Everybody on that screen. Championship standings quickly before we get going for the racing action. It's Sufor who leads the way. He's driving for Born to Race at this point in time, but yeah, we'll get an update of that, I'm sure, at some point. But yes, we will head to the track momentarily when the lights go out, and we will have 20 laps of racing this evening. Round 4 of the championship. Pretty heavy car, that's for say. The race should be, based on our poll time, pretty much slap on 30 minutes in length. So a decent amount of racing for the FZ5. The tyres are definitely going to come into play. The rear tyres like to overheat on this thing with all the weight, and they're big and chunky tyres. So lots and lots of surface temperature going to be going in there, causing the drivers quite a bit of headache, I am sure. Yes, the drivers are going to be restarting or voting to restart very, very shortly because we are on the hour. And I know that Zafiralis like to get things going pretty much like clockwork. So yeah, we will wait for the grid now. The admin's just making sure everybody is ready to go. Hopefully we have a grid any minute now. Yes, the call for restart has been made, and we have cars on the grid. Let's go to the track and get round 4 underway. There we go then. 22 drivers with Vitatas Lagutskas on the pole position. The engine notes rise, and we are green for round 4. 20 laps at Fern Bay Gold, and it's a good start by everybody, I think, at the moment, as they all head on down to the first corner. It's Yorpa trying to go around the outside, and Lagutskas early but he's not managed to do it. And a few changes in the background. Dodislav making a good start. Red bot dropping down ever so slightly as they all go through the chicane, and we've got some cars being pushed sideways, but they're all through just about. As we head up to the Twisty Hills section of this track for the first time. And really, really tight top three. This is great to see. Three veterans of Live for Speed all battling one another really, really tight and close together here. Excellent to see indeed. As they all come down to the back now of the track. And it's Jordan Lavrikov who is hustling the back of Vitalis Gutskas. We're right on board with him now. And, well, this track is super difficult to overtake at anywhere except the end of the bridge and into turn one. And there's not going to be any moves going on here on this lap, that's for sure. Their car is just so wide, and drivers can really make this thing as wide as they want, because the rear of the car really does step out when you go around a corner, and that's a huge amount of curb from both of these drivers. Mouseman has dropped back slightly, so is not in a position to capitalise. And there's a big gap between P4 and T-Bug at this point in time. Hamster is clinging on to the back of Mouseman, it has to be said. And here is Samuli, the highest placed driver from the host team. He's also streaming his point of view on Twitch at Thamuli_ if you'd like to pull that up alongside the main broadcast. Thamuli_ there. But all is calm at the moment. A good start from everybody on the grid, and really, really close battle yet again at the front. Jordan Lavrikov not quite in the slipstream, but the Gutskas for now in the 999 is holding on to the lead. But how can the drivers make the use of their tyres? This is a really important point in this car, because the rears are going to be used quite substantially. And looking at the drivers on my other screen here, I can see that actually the top three, the cars are in exactly the same condition, exactly the same. So being super careful, but pushing very, very hard at the same time. Hamster making slightly more use of his tyres there, tucked in behind Mouseman, as it looks like on this lap, Vitalis has opened up a bit more of a gap. Yeah, just over half a second. So edging slightly clear, and making his life a bit easier as he gets settled into this race. Here's Hachiroku for the Sim Racing Polska team. And we've also got Dodislav very close to the back of T-Bug. Potentially a move could be made here. Dodislav always highly motivated. Let's see if he can make the move somewhere on the lap. It's really, really difficult, as I said, to get through, especially through here. Very, very high speed curves where you need to make use of the entire road really with the FZ5 to keep it on, keep it out of the walls. Oh, Jordan Lavrikov spins and has spectated, so he's completely thrown his race away as Dodislav. Oh, who is that flying over the top? I think we've got some network trouble for one of the drivers flying over the top of the. Oh, I think it was a back marker. I'm not sure what's happened there, but Jordan Lavrikov is not happy about something. I wonder if it had something to do with the back marker. But yeah, seemingly. Oh, there's some real challenges going on here. We've got Mad Jester's had a crash as well. He's just recovering now in the final sector, but yeah, big crash out into the wall. And well, it looks like we've got some trouble on the track. Yeah, we've got we do have essentially have a protester on the track at the moment. I think, yeah, causing all sorts of trouble. Thamuli, I think, has just been wiped out of the race. Yeah, Thamuli's been wiped out of the race. The admins need to get on this right now and get Ghost Rider gone. Yeah, and he's been banned. Bit late that from the admins, I won't lie. But then we're back to racing. Unfortunately, we've lost Jordan Lavrikov, and yeah, the drivers were protesting about that for quite a while. So anyway, yeah, hopefully the administration will take note and sort that out quicker next time. Anyway, back to the action, and you can see we do have quite the action. It's the top three, very, very close to one another. Jordan Lavrikov is out and is furious with himself, and yeah, we'll have to diagnose that one afterwards. But anyway, Hamster now with the fastest lap. That there behind Mouseman in P3 in the bright white FZ5. But yeah, unfortunately we say bye to, well, Thamuli's rejoined at the back, but was wiped out of the race. Very unusual to see that. Very unusual. But sometimes it happens. And I think the offending driver will probably never be seen again. Especially not in this championship. Anyway, as we head through the first chicane, Mouseman's got that a little bit wrong, and I think Hamster is going to be able to make a move in probably one of the hardest parts of the track to make a move, even though Mouseman was super slow. Yeah, they come together door to door. Mouseman holds on and keeps the lead. I mean, that was fortunate because he got the first chicane completely wrong. And hard on the brakes again. Hamster is looking racy. I've not seen Mouseman having to defend too much like this in recent times. But anyway, off we go. Nice braking technique from Hamster. But all the while, Vitatas Lagutskas is able to run away at the front here. The gap now up to 2.5 seconds almost. And a big send on the brakes by Hamster into turn one. Has he held it? Yes, he has. Mouseman's up the inside though, and he's going to try and get back through. He's already back through, so a great switchback and a great battle here. But it's just allowing Vitatas Lagutskas to storm ahead. The gap now 3.6 seconds. So this battle, though it looks good, is really causing these two a headache. The only sort of consolation is that they have a huge gap back to Dodislav, so they can keep doing this for a while longer. But Lagutskas is doing best split after best split and has set the fastest lap of this race so far. And these two, well, Hamster's lost the fastest lap, probably as a result of this battle. But a good battle that it is. As we've got Lorenzo and Johnny SVK going side by side out onto the bridge. Johnny SVK trying to find a slipstream here. And he's through on the inside. Let's see what's going on for P2. Oh, huge launch over the curb for Mouseman and a better exit by the looks of it. Hamster is not able to close up at the first corner like he did on the previous lap. But he's taken a much tighter line in here, but a bit of rear slip there means he can't get alongside before the chicane. It would be super difficult to get through. And Mouseman is safe for another few turns at least. Lagutskas 4.2 seconds clear of the Latvian Mouseman. But Hamster really strong on the brakes, closing up to the back of him. Let's see if he can make the move somewhere soon. This is probably the closest battle that we've got on track directly between two cars, so we'll stick with it for a bit. Mad Jester is working his way back up through the field. He's close-ish behind Lorenzo. Both of them are struggling with their tyres at this stage in the race. A number of the drivers are struggling, especially Asker. His lap times are quite poor, but Hamster and Mouseman are chomping through their rubber at the moment. Both of them pushing quite hard. Tautas Lagutskas probably has the best tyres of anybody on the circuit right now. He is just cruising out the front. He has got the smoothest of driving techniques, something you really need to pedal the FZ5 around, well, any track really. It's so heavy, so planted, but it does put a lot of energy through the tyres. As we run onto the back straight, and well, it looks like Hamster's got a good run this time. This is surely his best opportunity for a while. Massman defends. Yeah, that's brilliant defensive driving there. Spotted the gap could have opened. Hamster now in the unfavourable position of the outside for this double left-hander, but he's got a little bit of overspeed. He might have it around the outside here. Very unusual way to overtake, but he's done it. Brilliant stuff from 6-speed Hamster there. I haven't seen a 6-speed driver top in the times or top in the grids in a very long time, but great to see from one of the city driving community teams. As we've got a backmarker there, that's Bentz from one of the backmarkers. But 6S Hamster showing us what he's made of, getting past Mouseman and over the start-finish to start lap 9. And now he can try and start making waves to close down potentially the 4.7 second gap that Tautas Lagutskas has over the rest of the field. And best of the rest at the moment is Dodislav, who potentially could also start to close down Mouseman, but he's got a bit of traffic which gets out of the way. That is Asker, who's just, as I mentioned before, really struggling with his tyres. Uncharacteristic, really. He's very experienced. And T-Bug, well, the first thing I want to say about T-Bug is that well done for making it almost halfway through the race. Let's see if he can make it all the way. Doesn't tend to finish too many races that he starts, but we'll see if he can make it. I hope he can. And he's currently in a very respectable position, P5 behind Dodislav. He's not letting Dodislav run away too quickly either, and ahead of Hachiroku. So far, so good from T-Bug. I hope he keeps it up. Who else have we got down the order? Roni driving a somewhat different livery to what we usually see him in. Driving a Johnny Bravo livery. And it says this won't end well on the back. So whether that's a message about his driving style or the car, we leave that up to the viewers to determine, as we now have the leading Zafiralis car of Motta Makari after Thamuli was wiped out by essentially a protester or a miscreant. As Lagutskas now has a 5.4 second gap. So now that Hamster's been released, that has not done anything to reduce the gap at the front. Here they are. Hamster followed by Mouseman. And then all the way in a different distance, that's Dodislav followed by T-Bug. Next we have Hachiroku, and Rid is just coming around onto the bridge section now. Behind them it's Roni, who's navigating Bentz, the back marker. And then Motti and Makari, who will meet the back marker as well at the apex, and he's let through very nicely. What a great shot that over the final curbs. They really are massive. And out onto the home straight to make it halfway through round number 4. Lap 11 begins for Vitautas. And let's take a look to see what's happening here. We've got Sufor. Manchester looking to overtake Sufor. But, oh sorry, Sufor's just overtaken Manchester. I've been asleep for the last 10 seconds. And big over the curb, but that doesn't look like a good exit at all from Manchester, so that place will be firmly kept by Sufor. And Lorenzo just ahead will be next up for Sufor as we ride on board. And you can just see that Sufor's chicane just so much quicker there, as we've got Johnny SVK with an issue out of the chicane. He's slowing quite considerably. He's going to be open for an attack by Lorenzo and Sufor as well. But he's lost a place to Motti McCarry. And Lorenzo is lining up Johnny to try and get a slipstream. Oh, and hard into the wall for those two. Sufor could make this 3 wide if he's close enough. He's not. And Sufor could follow through here. He could get past Lorenzo if he's careful about it. Nope. All 4 of them through all together now. But heading this group of 4, Johnny SVK, Lorenzo, Sufor, and now Mad Jester rejoins the back, but with a car that I don't think will be able to get through. The best he can hope for is to hang on and maybe get a sneaky overtake if the drivers go side by side like this. There you go, look. Mad Jester exactly where he needs to be, trying to go around the outside on Sufor as they all bump into the back of each other. And yeah, Mad Jester's alongside, but no, doesn't have the grip at the back of the car at this stage of the race to do anything about it. And Johnny SVK, well, after looking like he might lose a couple of more places there, has opened the gap back up and can recompose himself to try and fight forward in this race. As Lorenzo runs very, very wide, and that's going to allow Sufor a chance. No, he backs out of it into the chicane. Wise move. But losing time. So the drivers ahead. Let's keep an eye on this battle then. Manchester seems very, very keen to regain the places, but I don't think he's driving the car to allow that to happen. It's all battered and bent out of shape, and the tyres have long past peaked. But let's see how he gets on. He'll have a double toe, but not the best exit. Sufor has a run on Lorenzo. Will he go late on the brakes? No. They fall back into line. Lorenzo's gone wide again. Sufor's up along. No, he's not. He's backed out of it. Gap at the front up to 7 seconds. And Hamster and Mouseman still relatively close, though. Or as we've got Sufor trying to go up the inside on Lorenzo. That'll be the outside for the next hairpin, but it doesn't matter. Sufor's already clear, so great move. And Sufor up to P11 then. See how Manchester manages the final couple of corners. Takes a lot of curb. But Lorenzo wide again. He cannot seem to stick the apexes at all. He's left the inside wide open for a pass by Mad Jester. We've got Motti McCarry and Johnny SVK battling hard just ahead of these guys. But let's watch this as it unfolds. Mad Jester up the inside. Is Lorenzo going to give it to him? Yes, he has to. And Johnny SVK has caught and passed Motti McCarry again. So either Motti McCarry had an issue or Johnny SVK is running scared away from all these drivers. Lap 13 winding down for our race leader Vitautas Lugutskas, who has a nearly 8-second gap to 6-speed Hamster, and then just a second and a half back to Mouseman. To be honest, with Hamster's pace, I expected him to open up the gap maybe a bit quicker than he is. Lorenzo's had a crash coming out of the hilly section. Big right side damage. That is a strange side to have damage on. I do not see how that happened. but he's clearly hit the right-hand side of the track on a part of the track that is clockwise. Even though, in fact, it would have been on the bridge. That's slightly unusual. And looks like Chris is telling me in my ear that he crashed in a straight line, so a little bit embarrassing for him. But anyway, the gap now over 8 seconds back to Hamster. But look at that, Hamster really is now opening the gap to Mouseman. A good effort by him. And Dodislav, meanwhile, is still trying to chase down T-Bug. T-Bug's doing a phenomenal job here to hold on to P4 now. Here's Hachiroku again. Currently P6 on the road. At some point, T-Bug has overtaken Dodislav, so he's managed to get up to P4. Mighty impressive. And continues to follow up the laps. Here's Rid, not really seen much of Rid, but this is one of the drivers who is absolutely struggling with the rear of the car. Looks like it's going to swap ends, as we've got Sufor and Motomikari now in a battle. This is Sufor trying to get past and trying to go around the outside of the chicane. Surely not, no, contact with the tyres. That's going to slow Sufor right down. And Manchester's managed to get back through. Well, would you believe it? Sufor probably should have known better that two don't go through that chicane together. But I can't blame him for being brave. Asker's given up. He's decided that his tyres are just not doing it for him, and he has left the race with just 5 laps to go. But Vitautas is lapping Bentz again. And Sufor really would love to get to the front of this group. This is Motomikari leading Manchester. Oh, and there's contact between the two of them. This is Sufor's chance to get both of them. Motomikari drifting back across the track. There's contact. Sufor through on Manchester. Manchester disappears from our camera view. And now Sufor has to get a good exit, and he has. He's realised that Motomikari just doesn't have the rear grip. Manchester is nowhere near to be able to capitalise from this, and this could be 2 places in just a couple of corners for Sufor, but they make contact. Sufor didn't leave him enough room. But fortunately, they both continue. But Motomikari will feel hard done by there, squeezed wide. But Sufor moves off back into P10. Let's reset the order then for the final dash to the line. It's Vitautas Lagutskas who leads 10 seconds now clear of 6-speed Hamster. Then we've got Mouseman, who's still very, very close behind. In fact, I think he's probably closed the gap since we last saw him. Then it's T-Bug, who looks set to finish the race for a change, which is nice. Then we've got Dodislav in P5. Manchester's actually having a go at Motomikari at the end of the back straight. He's on the outside. It's not going to work. No, he's driven 2 wheels into the grass, and Redbot might even come into play here. I haven't seen Redbot much this race at all. But Motomikari there in the red, wide, and allowing Manchester the thought that he might be able to get past before the end of the race. And he's going to have to start watching behind him, because Redbot will want to take a place as well. As they all slither their way around. This car doesn't drive, it slithers through Turn Bay. Oh, there's Redbot driving up on the curb, and the rear differential did not like that at all. No power at all going to the road, and he loses a ton of time. Well, the Gutsgas is making this look very easy. As we switch back to Manchester once again, he's really getting quite a lot of the limelight tonight, trying to get through on Motta McCarry. It was half alongside, but he's going to have to try it somewhere else. Thanks for tuning in to Zafiralis All Rounder Championship. This championship takes place once a month, and this is the first of 3 races that we are going to have through the next couple of months at Fern Bay, using the road, slick and dirt tyres. As now Manchester fancies an opportunity around the outside. He's going to try the cutback, but it hasn't worked. He doesn't have to worry about Redbot. Redbot is dispatched with, but where can Manchester get past? 2-4 has long gone up the road. Manchester has to think of something. I think out of the final corner is his best opportunity, but Manchester is equally suffering with hot tyres at the rear, and that's not a good exit from the hairpin, but he really needs to line up the chicane nicely. Oh, he's going to take a lot of curb here, and Motta McCarry will scamper away. I think I've worked out why Hamster might be slightly struggling against Mouseman. He has absolutely cooked his rear tyres and could be under threat. Mouseman has better tyres at this stage of the race. Even though the gap to the lead has come down, I think maybe that's as a result of a slight mistake potentially from the Gutscast, as we've got Sufor trying to get past Roni. This is for P9 in the race. Roni in the yellow, Johnny Bravo's skin. And on the unfavoured outside then, on the run up to the double left, but Sufor is through and takes P9 away from Roni Krompush. Roni runs wide actually onto the grass. He manages to recover. But Hamster is being caught by Mouseman. There is absolutely no doubt about it. Hamster has burned through his tyres. And yeah, he's pushing like crazy to keep ahead. And it's not going to be enough. Mouseman has surely got this. I don't think Hamster stands any chance of cooling those tyres down enough for Mouseman to not have a chance at getting past. Let's see what Mouseman manages. Because every single corner that Hamster pulls away faster than Mouseman, it's going to be bad news for his tyres. These two are pushing like crazy. They're gaining on the leader. But for the lead battle, that's too little too late. And Hamster now has to go from attack into defense mode. There are no two ways about it. Mouseman can smell P2. He has better tyres for the job at this stage in the race. Yeah, you can see the rear again stepping out of Hamster. He just has to survive one more lap in the lead. He can make the car as wide as he wants. But does he have the tyres? Does he have the tyre strength or grip to keep this place? Oh, he's making the car so wide through the final corner. Mouseman impatient to get through. And now will we see a move? Hamster swings to the right-hand side, goes as defensive as he can. Maybe Mouseman's going to try a late move to the inside. No, sticks and commits to the outside line, which will become the inside. Hamster will have no grip, but he's blocked the apex. It's perfectly done. Mouseman hook, line and sinker into the back of him, and Hamster can hold on for a couple more corners at least, but this is where it will start to get very, very challenging on his tyres. Oh, they are screaming in pain. Look, the rear of that car just sliding out just a little bit too much for it to be fast, but Mouseman just can't get through. The car is too wide. Riding on board with Mouseman again, and this is his penultimate chance really off of the bridge, and Mouseman's not managed to do it. Hamster will surely defend once again. The Gutscas is through this next corner. He's almost at the finish line. We're going to have to switch to him in a moment, but let's stay with this as long as we can. Mouseman forcing the move, trying to force the move up the inside. It's not good enough, as we'll have to have a look at our race leader and find out what happens with this battle at the very last moment. But a battle for P2 until the line in the FZ5, a challenging car. But out of the final corner comes Vitatas Lagutskas, leading from start to finish, pole position, fastest lap, and now the win in round 4 of the Zafiralis All Rounder Championship for 2025. And we need to go and have a look and see what's going on with P2. Because it's Hamster. He's held on for 3 laps with dead tyres. He takes P2 in the race. An astonishing finish. Mouseman just could not get through, and I'm really surprised to see that. And T-Bug, congratulations to him. Not only is it a finish, it's a 4th place, beating some big names. So, yeah, good job to T-Bug. Vladislav, he'll be disappointed with P5, I think, but as he comes pirouetting across start-finish, no chance of slowing that down. Everybody's coming pirouetting, showing us just how hot their tyres really are. Here comes Rid. Not a winner today, but a good result for him and his teammate, finishing P7 on the road. Next, it's Johnny SVK close. Sufor nearly got him, nearly closed the gap down to pass him. As across the line comes Roni. And, well, P10 for Roni, P11 for Motti McCarry, 12th for Mad Jester. Lorenzo will be 13th. Then we're waiting for Redbots across the line now. Magic 15th. And then we're just waiting for Bence to emerge from the final corner. Slowly does it across start finish. And Bence finishes in 16th with the Mooley wiped out of the race early on. Unfortunately, and finishes P17 on the road. Well, that is round number 4 of the Zafiralis All Rounder Championship completed. It's in the books. There are your results. In 30 minutes and 40 seconds, Lagutskas finishes well ahead of the field, 13 seconds clear of Hamster. That's how much time they both lost in the last lap, 4 seconds. And Hamster keeping Mouseman behind all race long pretty much, with T-Bug there. Best of the rest in P4. Vladislav, Hashiroku, Rid, Johnny SVK, Sufor and Roni there in your top 10. With Motti McCarry, Mad Jester, Lorenzo, Redbot, Magic, Bent and Thamuli, your 17 finishers, though Thamuli rejoined and lapped 3 laps down for most of the race. And then your DNFs go to Asker, Yorpa, PX Non, rounding out your top 20. With Ghost Rider banned from the server for frivolity, and then Armet NS and Sonoris Mozart there DNFing and finishing or being registered as 20 laps down. And those are the 23 drivers that took part this evening, and it's Vitatas Lagutskas who takes the fastest lap, a 1 minute 30.93. Well. That brings to a close the action for tonight. We do have 2/3 of the podium. It looks like Mouseman has pulled up alongside Vitatas, but Hamster is somewhere else on the track. I'm not sure where he is. I think he might have actually disconnected. No, he's. I think he's coming out now to join our podium. He's just rounding the end of the pit lane, and we'll pull up alongside for the podium photo that we like to do here, although he's got that slightly wrong. Needs to be on the other side of Lagutskas. Oh yeah, I think he's realised. Nope, I think he just wants to sit next to Mouseman. Anyway, it'll do, as they say. In fact, I think Mouseman's going to go and make this a bit better. Normally I would have panned away, but I'm really interested to see what they're doing. There we go. We got there in the end. Or did we? I'll be patient. Nope, we're doing something weird. Okay, I'll let them do what they want to do, and I'll call this broadcast to a close. Excellent stuff from the FZ5. A challenging car, especially difficult here at Fern Bay. And if you want to get involved in this championship, then please do so. You can join us in a month's time on May 5th for a track to be confirmed at Fern Bay, but it's going to be a rallycross round. So this is going to be heat races followed by what is it, like quarterfinals and then a final. So if you want to join that, then you can, and that'll be at probably a custom track or one of the Fern Bay rallycross tracks on May 5th. That'll be confirmed to us shortly after the conclusion of the broadcast, I think, and then we'll be back on June 2nd for a race with the slick tyres in round number 6. So we hope you can join us for future rounds of this championship, either as a competitor or as a viewer. Thank you very much for watching. We wish you all a pleasant evening, and we'll see you on the next broadcast, which is going to be the Ronies Tuesday Fun Race round 8 for 2025 at West Hill National with the Troeno JGT. From all of us here at Sim Broadcast, have a great evening. See you next time.